Morning, everybody. Won't be long. I know it's Sunday morning. Just 10 minutes. A question, hopefully an answer. When I grew up, I really had my first love. Before I got to high school, it got more complicated with the girls. When I was younger, it was a lot easier. My first love was a big orange ball. We woke up in the morning, me and my basketball, I gave it a kiss. We said Modani together. We had breakfast. Of course, the Wheaties, because what Michael Jordan had. We went to school together. We dribbled. We laughed. We cried. We watched romantic comedies together. It was wonderful. And as I grew up, if you're a ball player and you're a fan of ball, you know that there's, from all the months of the year, there's one month that stands above the rest. One month, what month am I talking about? March. Because when March comes, everything changes. You know that something's going to happen mid-month, where college teams are going to be competing around the country for some title, and you're going to be watching Gonzaga play North Carolina at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then cutting school and watching 16 games. Your whole life's going to change, and all you're going to do for a few weeks of your life is live and breathe ball. And to this day, I don't watch as much. But to this day, I got to tell you, as soon as I look at the calendar and it turns to March, something inside me like goes, all right, it's March. There's like a feeling, there's like an excitement, it's March. That means it's madness. I don't know what that means, but it's awesome. It's going to be a great month. If we'd have to look at this from the Jewish side, where do we think Elul would rank? From like 1 to 12 of that feeling. 11 or 12. I have never in my life been in shul when someone said Rosh Chodesh Elul and everyone in the crowd's like, yes. Forget it. That first time that shofar blows and I remember you got to walk back for L'David, you're like, oh, here we go. Just can't wait for that last L'David and I'm clear. I grew up, and when I was in high school, when I was in college, my parents moved to Hillcrest. So down the block was St. John's. I remember Midnight Madness. Midnight Madness, you waited all week. Last night, forget that. Midnight Madness, I am tired. And the feeling we have in this period of time, which is like, if you think about it, the period of time where God says, I'm coming down just to see you. All we really know, all the stuff we say is stuff later on, what we really know about this period of time is one thing. Dirshu Hashem b'yimatzo. He's close. Dad's coming home. We're in college dorms all year, and our parents come up once a year. We're in camp for the summer, and it's visiting day. That's what we know. And the feelings we have, straight up, truth, the feelings we have now, anxiety, worry, here we go again. I gotta go through so much meaningless Hebrew words, and I gotta fast. And we get this like deal with God. It's called Amazon spiritual shopping. Here's the deal. You want stuff, I want stuff. You want prayers and words and want me to blow a horn, that's cool. Want me to fast, we'll do it. I'll shech the chicken, I'll do whatever you want. For the next 2 weeks, I'll sit in a booth, I'll shake a lulav. Here's what I want. Health, happiness, and money. And you're gonna give me the extra on the money. Not a big deal, I'm a Jew. The book of life. We don't know what that means. We know that it's not death, we choose life. We're Jews. If it's free, you take double. Whatever it is, I'm on my way. So we go through these motions, year after year, and resign ourselves to know that starting this week, we're just gonna say stuff, do stuff, and the feeling we have is deep down, we won't say it out loud because we're scared once he hears us say it, he's gonna get upset. But we feel inside is, I can't wait for this to be over and I can go back to my regular life. The book of life isn't my regular life. That's what I gotta do for the next few days to get into it, and then I go back to me. But if we look at Chazal, they're telling you something totally different. They're saying Elul's not about fear, it's not about anxiety, it's not about worry. Elul really is about love. Anila Dodi V'Dodi Li, which is so crazy to think about it, that the choice that Chazal picks for this month is Shir Ashir, a romantic line. I am for my beloved and my beloved is for me. The sign of Elul is the Pesula. Historically, what Moshe was doing this month, he was up in Shemayim fixing the problems between us and God because we sinned by the Chet HaEgel. And the question for the first five more minutes that I have is, how do we feel that? Because if you're a parent in this room and you come up to visiting day and your kids give you a look like, I don't want you here, I don't care what they say to you next, you feel like it's wrong. And if your kids are doing wrong, if your kids get busted for some prank that they do in camp or in school, and you show up and they look you in the eyes and say, I am happy you're here, Ma. It doesn't matter what they did wrong. You're like, I got you. You're my son. When I come home and I open that door, when my key hits that door, and I open that door and I hear, Daddy's home! Pitter, patter, pitter, patter. My wife can say, you know, your kids almost burned down the house. I'll be like, okay, they're kids. Maybe it was a problem in you. They just said, Daddy's home, for God's sakes. Let them talk to their father for a minute. You guys want some extra candy? I'm Daddy's home. What do we want from our kids? We want them to be perfect? No. We want them to love us? No. What do you think God wants from us? To be perfect? If He wanted us to be perfect, He'd turn us into angels and bring us up there. He wants us to be human, but He wants us to love Him. He wants us this period of time to be pumped that we're 10 days away from all we know He's coming to town. And the question is, why don't we feel that way? And hopefully in one story, how do we fix it? I'll tell you a story. I think this is the problem. I have a buddy of mine who is probably the coolest friend I have. I met him when I was in Colombia, and he bageled me. Everyone knows what bageling is? Bageling is when someone who's less religious comes to someone who's more religious and shows that they know about religion. It's awesome. I love being bageled. It's the best. It's like when you're sitting, I remember once I was sitting at a dinner, and a guy came over to me, and I was just sitting there, and he saw that I was religious. He goes, "Hey, I see you got a challah roll there." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, if you're going to eat it, got to wash your hands." I'm like, "Okay, thank you." He goes, "And you got to say the motzi. Love the motzi." And I'm like, "I love the motzi too." So I was like, then that started up. So sitting one time in school, never forget, a guy comes over and bagels me. And I love it, because I love Jews, and especially I love all Jews, and I love when they bagel me. So this guy comes up to me. He's a good friend of mine. I mean, I didn't know who he was. Comes up to me. It's Friday afternoon. I'm sitting in class. You know, those early Fridays, like it was like September time. So Shabbos is 7 o'clock. He comes up to me and goes, "Hey, so you're going to be going to class today?" I said, "Sure." He goes, "Well, you know, you can leave a little early?" I said, "No." He goes, "You know, because it's Friday. You know, today there's sundown today." I think there's sundown every day. He goes, "No, you know, Shabbat." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I know." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So we started talking. This guy's the coolest guy ever. Grew up in Cleveland. After college, he went to China. He became the first ever American student to go to China and get a law degree in Chinese. As you can tell, I'm still working on English because I grew up from Brooklyn, but like he actually learned Chinese. When Bill Clinton came to town back then, he had a whole symposium about Chinese-U.S. relations, and he brought him out as the example. He comes back to America, goes to Yale for a degree, goes to Columbia for a degree. And he's like one of these guys that not only is smart, he's like athletic, he works out all the time, he's got a motorcycle, he carries a gun, like one of those guys. Probably has a Swiss Army knife with like 700 things, you know those guys? Keys. So we're talking, and then he gets involved with what's called the FIDF. He tells me a story. We became very close. He gets involved with the FIDF. And he's donating, they're raising money. And he's raising money, and after they raised money to build a rec center for some soldiers, they flew out a group of them, and they were in Israel, and it was one night, and they're sitting around with the sergeants and the colonels and the whole team there, and they're talking about it, and they're going, "Give me your background." And he goes, "Well, I grew up here, I went to China, I speak Chinese fluently, and Yale, and this and that, and I do this and I do that." And the upper officers were looking at each other, and time comes back to New York. One day he's sitting, he works for a law firm in a city called Cravath. He gets a call. He goes, "We want you to come back to Israel. We want to give you a special presentation." Gets on a plane, goes to Israel, gets picked up at the airport. He's driving, and he knows where they wanted to take him. And as they're on the highway, they go the wrong way. Like, you know, they go in the left way. And he's like, "Are they going to kill me or something?" He ends up in some small cafe somewhere. And at the cafe are 3 people in regular clothes. Probably eating like hummus or something. And they're sitting around. And they look at him and they go, "Listen, we're developing an entire desk in China on the intelligence department. You're perfect. You look blonde. You speak English perfectly. You speak Chinese perfectly. We want to know if you'll consider coming and joining the Israeli army with us so we can train you to become one of our intelligence officers." I don't know if I can tell you this or not, by the way, so if I die, you'll know why. So he calls me up, he goes, "What should I do?" I'm like, "What should you do? Does it get cooler than that?" I'm like, "That happened to me." I'm going to call my wife, I'm like, "Honey, we're moving to Israel. Like, Israeli army says we need you." So he goes into his partner's office and quitting Cravath. His parents weren't so happy. And, you know, because you're a Jew, you're a doctor or lawyer, that's like pretty much the option. So he goes to Israel. And they put him in basic training, and basic training is not like what we think it is. Like we watch a couple of our movies, go to the gym once or twice, and think we can handle it. He's an American guy, he's working and he's not happy. But he's got to pass it through, and he passes it through, and then he gets to the next level, and the next level, and the next level. He's telling me the story right now in America after this is all done. And he's at his last level. And if he passes his last test, he hits the officer that he needs to be. And the last test he has to do is he has to go to an undisclosed location from point A to point B. And what they do is they put you in a desert, and they give you coordinates, and they teach you how to do this. I don't know, I can't get even to Teaneck without my GPS. But apparently, like, you have all these coordinates, and he figures out how to get to this location in a certain period of time. And if he can get there a certain period of time, as he opens the door, he passes. This is it, last thing, and he's done. So he gets the coordinates, everything's going well. He figures it out, he knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy, he's got his team behind him, his little platoon, and they're going. They're in this Jeep, and he's telling me they're going. He's got 2 minutes left, he's got plenty of time. He's a minute away, all of a sudden, he hears a pop. The back right tire pops out. The Jeep spins out of control. They put it to the side. He's screaming at his people, fix the tire, fix the tire. They put on the replacement. He goes flying back to the undisclosed location. He gets there, he's about 30, 40 seconds left. He runs up to the door, and the door's locked. And there's a sign that's hanging that says, "You failed." And he's like, oh my God, I was so close. So he goes back to his barracks, and his officer that was in charge of him walks in and comes up and he goes, "Listen, it happens. You're running a drill, this happens all the time. Tomorrow we're giving you another chance. Don't worry, you'll pass. Just keep your head straight. Tomorrow morning, round 2. Wakes up in the morning, he's pumped, new coordinates, new team, and he's running now. And he's going, but it's a new place he has to go. He has to park his Jeep and run around a certain sand dune. And he's telling me the story. At this point, I'm sitting in the city I'm like drooling. I can hear the music pumping in the background. And he's going, and then everything's driving. He's got plenty of time. He figured it out. He knows what he's doing. He's good. He's a great officer. As he gets closer, he stops the car. They get out to run. They turn around the corner. And as they turn around the corner, one of his guys trips and breaks his ankle. And he screams in pain, and he turns around and he goes, "You're kidding me?" He goes, pick him up, let's go." And they're running with him, and he's hobbling, and he's late now. And he comes right up at that door, and as he runs up to the door, he gets it, and it's locked again. On the bottom is a sign. "We're sorry, now you failed." And he is upset. He is this close. Twice in a row, he goes back to his barracks, and he told me he ripped the place to shreds. He was mad. He starts blaming God. He's like, "How could you do this to me?" And then he goes, "You know what it is? It's those Israelis. They hate me. I know they don't want an American to pass." He's blaming him. He's blaming that. And the guy comes in and he says, "Listen, I spoke to my guy. We know we brought you out from here. Tomorrow morning is it. We know baseball, 3 strikes and you're out. No matter what. I don't care if God himself zaps you down. It's your last chance tomorrow." And he told me he's sitting in his barracks and he is mad. He's like, "They're playing with me. They're toying with me. They brought me out here to show that I can't handle it. They're going to set me up. This is a game that they're playing with me." And he's sitting in his barracks. An hour, and finally something dawns on him. He says, "Wait a second. There was a guy there with me that I haven't seen since that first time I was in the restaurant." And he's like, "Wait a second. When I first got here, there were 4 guys at that table. And I remember seeing one guy 2 weeks ago with another officer that ended up making it. And I remember when I passed basic training, they gave everybody that chumash and the gun, and they said Chazak Baruch or something. But with me, they said my name, and I turned around and I said, 'You know my name?' to the high officer, and they just kept on moving me along. And I remember they did this for somebody else, and slowly started putting pieces together. I goes, wait a second. And then 5 weeks ago, he was there. And 6 weeks ago, they had me fill out paperwork for this. He goes, wait, they're not trying to make me fail. They're trying to make me succeed. This whole game is for my success. They've been building me up into this point. Everything that's been happening, everything that I got, every failure, every success has been coordinated by these guys to build me into an officer. If they're building me into an officer, then why are they making me fail? And he said it hit him. They're not testing if you get to the location or not. They're testing him on something totally different. To see how we react under pressure. Because if you're in the army and you come under fire, you need leaders that can act under pressure, that can take care of their people when the going gets tough. They're not testing my timing. They're testing how I act when things go bad at the last minute. They believe in me. They want me to be great. He said, I didn't sleep the whole night. 5 a.m., the door opens, he goes, I am ready in army gear. And the guy looks at me, he thought I was still sleeping, he goes, I'm ready. They get your coordinates, he knows what's coming. He had 2 Jeeps, and they go. 2 minutes left, he's waiting for it. He gets a thing on his radio. One of the Jeeps went out, you gotta turn around aboard. And He's about to get upset again. He goes, we got it. Turns around. He takes the situation down. He fixes this. He fixes that. He takes care of this guy and that guy. Totally takes control with poise, with precision. Gets his team back. He goes right in. He's late, but he doesn't care because he knows he did the right thing. As he walks in, he's about to fill the door and get that failure, but now the door opens. And he opens the door, and sitting in front of him is his officer, with a smile on his face, and says, congratulations. You passed. Welcome to being an officer of the Israeli Army. Why do we feel this way for? Why do we walk into this period of time with this game we play with God? Here's the deal. I don't want to be here, so let me just do whatever you need, and you give me what I want. And we'll call it a day. Don't zap me and my family. Let me get to Sukkot in Israel, and we'll be cool. Why do we do this for? There's one reason, I believe. Because at the end of the day, we do not believe that He believes in us. We have two choices this Yontif. You know what they are? Benoni or Russia. Benoni or Russia. Here's the deal. We have tzaddikim, the holy ones. They're over there. Oh, Charlie, you want to be a tzaddik? Is that adorable? I don't think so. You went to Flatbush. It's not going to happen. Why don't you hang out over there, and maybe you'll be a Benoni or a Russia. So if you can scream loud enough by Ne'ilah, maybe, just maybe, we'll put you in the D category, and you can just barely survive, okay? How does that sound? And can you move to the side? There's a rabbi behind you. I want to take a look at him. We walk into this period of time, and the feeling we have is, he's not going to believe in me. Does God really know me? Does he really know my life? I'm a regular guy. I work for a living. I'm doing carpool half the day. I feel like my life is being a car service driver to my kids. I don't even know what's going on. I haven't learned it so long. I don't get moved by this or motivated by that. I'm a regular person. And I know for sure that I'm not an A student, not in his book. So you want me to go through this process? I'll go through it. But let's be straight, me and you. You don't really believe in me, so let me tell you this. Just give me what I want. I'll say whatever you need. We'll call it a day. We go through this process, and what we see in ourselves is an entire world of circumstance that either maybe he's not there, or maybe it's just random. What we never have in our own minds is that moment in the barracks. We never sit back. For real. It's easier to say a bunch of words. It's easier to become a robot, which is why we all are, which is why we get so pumped when there's no tachanun. It's like the best day of the year for us. Go to any shul, Beis Nisan, it's the biggest holiday of all time. Right? And if no tachanun, if Beis Nisan falls out on a Monday or Thursday, La Yehudim Haisa Ora V'Simcha V'Sasam V'Yikar. It is a double yontif. No tachanun. 5 less minutes of saying Greek, and I don't have to feel guilty. It's the best day ever. Kadash Shemona Esrei, I am yours. Give me whatever money you want. Because we feel deep down that it doesn't even matter. He's not grooming me. He's not building me. I'm a regular guy. And we go through this period of time, Chazal says, you are missing it. You are missing it. He is grooming you. He didn't pick you out of 6 billion people, and God bless the entire universe. But let's be straight. We believe at the core of our beliefs there's something special about us. Doesn't mean we're better. Out of 6 billion people in this world, for some reason he chose you and put you here right now. Not everyone had to be growing. Not everyone has to grow up and have a community like we have here. He picked us with family and an environment that gives us the opportunity to get close to him. Why? There's 10 million Jews in this world. There's 5 million in America. Most of them have no chance. No chance whatsoever. Not even if they tried. No chance. If we don't reach out to them, there's no chance. Why did he put us right here? Why did he give us Teaneck for? Why is there shops and schools and friends? And my kid can walk around with a yarmulke and not feel like, why didn't he put me 2 generations ago like my grandmother? Where I walked out the yarmulke and they stuck me in a gas chamber. Why? Why me right now? Why? And we never answer with, because he believes in me. There's something about me. We don't look in that mirror and say, there's something about me, not the rabbi, me, that he's grooming, that he's building. And so we walk into this period of time, and it's not about us. We think he loves us if. If you're a parent, you know you don't love your children's if. You love your children's period. Not when they come home with an A. You love your children because they're your children. And you'll jump in front of a train for them. Why? Because they're your children. And all you want from them, and those kids in the room, I'm telling this to you for your parents, all they want from you is one thing. To know they love you like crazy. And we know it. And we come to this period of time where we have all these things. God loves me if I become an if. And God's looking down going, can I please have a bunch of Jews to stand up and say, you know what? He actually believes in me, my skills, my job, my beauty, my touch. And if we had that, We walk into it with a totally different period, totally different mindset. I want to read to you how to get in the book of life. I believe these are the 3 most important lines I've ever read in my entire life, and I want to read it to you. This is the secret, right here. This is the passageway. This is like Harry Potter or something. The Nesiv Shalom, Sloan and a Rebbe. This is how you get into the book. This is how we get into the book of life. Here's what he says. Mamar Chazal. Chazal say, Gimel Svarim Niftachim B'Rosh Hashanah. We know this one, right? 3 books. Which books are we in? Either the Beinoni or the Rasha. Tzadikim Gemurim. Tzadikim Gemurim. Nichtamim v'nichtamim la'alta l'chaim. They get signed and sealed. They're done. They're good. Hainu, who are these people? What happens? Not Charlie Harary, a real guy. Let's see V'shalom. Sheposlim Shlosha Svarim Chadashim. Every year God opens 3 new books. Shekol Echad Roshem It's Atzmo L'Shana HaChadasha Be'ezeh Shirotzeh. And he looks at you and goes, this isn't an evaluation, sorry. I'm not telling you who I like. I'm not looking around going, can you get louder? Sorry, ain't gonna work. This isn't an evaluation. You know what this is? This is a self-evaluation. God takes the pen, hands it to us and goes, put your name in the book you want to go into. You want to be counted among the tzaddikim? You want to be considered in his eyes to be a tzaddik? What does that mean? That means we fill our task. God says, you become the best you. Your wife, your kids, your life, your background, what you know, your problems and your insecurities. You become the best you, God says, and you want to give that to me? You know that I believe in you. You have the moment in the barracks where you look up and go, there's this huge army here and I'm in. God says that you are considered a tzaddik. Al Yidei Zeh, this is him. Nechtamim v'nechtamim la'alta l'chaim. You're in the book of life. Who are the Beinonim Risham? Who are the guys? Who are the Beinonim? The people screaming and yelling, basically saying, give me money and get out of my way. Because we don't want to change. We don't believe that he believes in us. I don't believe that I'm that important to the Jewish people, that me and my regular person job, me and my regular person family can actually play a role in this great nation this year. And God goes, you don't even believe it in yourself? How in the world can I believe in you? Our goal this Yontif, especially for our children, but more importantly maybe for ourselves, is to not walk in like every year, to not become robots. When we show up, say some words, hope we're done, and move on. It's to grapple. It's to lose sleep. Is to talk with our spouse on Rosh Hashanah night and go, could it be that the creator of the universe believes in me and you? Like, does he know how regular we are? And when we come to the conclusion of yes, he does, when we wake up like my buddy did at 5 a.m. with that sense of he believes in me, regular me, and we stand in Rosh Hashanah, we stare him in the eye and go, you know what? I'm in. I don't know what that means. When you get married, you walk down the aisle, guess what? You don't know what that means to be married. And you'll learn quick, that's for sure. When you come home from the hospital with that baby, what do? You hold that baby, you go, I don't know what this means, I'll tell you one thing. I'm in. And you don't know what's going on. Then high school hits, and that's a whole other story. And if you knew what was going on in high school when you had the babies, we'd all have one kid each a family. But you know what? Who cares? Because in relationships, we don't need you to be perfect. We need you to be committed. And this year, we stand in front of God. We'll know more, we'll know less, we'll understand what we say, we won't. It matters. We'll stand in front of him and say, you know what? I don't know what this means, but I'm in. I want to do my task. I want to be the best me. And if we do that, we have confidence that we take that pen and we sign our own name in the book of life, in the book of meaning, in the book of purpose. This is what Inspire does. This is what they do for a living. They walk around and inspire us, all of us. Because guess what? Whether we're black, white, middle, center, it's all Narishkeit. All the denominations we make for ourselves is just to make ourselves feel better. We're all one family. No matter our back, we're all one family. We're one people, brothers and sisters. But to see how great we can be, and to see how great each and every one of us can be, is what Inspire does for a living. It would be zoche this year to see it, to realize it, to take that pen in 10 days from now, to sign our name in the book of life, to stare down to our Father in heaven and say, I am in. May we have a year of bracha, and only good things, and begin and always consider to see simchas in this community and all through Klal. So thanks so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Charlie Harary. Thank you.